I'm a person of color, usually the only one in my class, and in their eyes, it's my skin that defines me. And I realized that was the case when 7-year-old me was called a monkey and told to go back to my damn country, though I was too young to know what that meant exactly, too young to know that that was wrong, too young to know that that would not stop and go on for far too long. I was simply a kid, playing with any other kid that didn't refuse to play with me simply because my skin is the way it is. I was a kid. Yeah, my skin is still all they could see, and that made me want to be like them when I should love my skin for what it is. I am a person. I should not be scared to get stopped by a cop while walking in the park or while in the passenger seat in my grandpa's car, because if he said the wrong words at the wrong time, he'd pay for it. There should be no reason that I fear the group of people in my country who are supposed to protect me along with the rest of the black people who are getting killed simply because they are. I should not fear walking down the street at night because someone might get the wrong idea. I should not fear being pinned to the ground by an officer until I can't breathe because I'm black. I should not fear that my melanin in my skin might kill me. I am a person. I'm a person, though often not treated like one, especially when they say we should have left them as slaves and continue using nigga as their name. That phrase so effortlessly rolled off their tongue like a lyric to a song. Black Lives Matter. They'll say it to the camera, in public, to their friends, and behind closed doors act like we shouldn't have the same rights they do, but just think if you were in my shoes. Black Lives Matter. Yet you still ask, why are black people so mad? Mad, that's an understatement. We are hated because of the color of our skin. Something we cannot change. You're damn right we're mad, and we should be. We should get to live our lives carefree, but we can't because the color of our skin apparently means we are armed, apparently means we are stealing, apparently means we are criminals, apparently means we do not deserve rights. We deserve rights. We are people. My skin is not a weapon, nor does it define me. I am a person. I am black and I am proud. I'm the same as you. Black Lives Matter too.
Welcome to another episode of Put You On Notice. And today, man, I'm honored to have two bright, intelligent, very humble individuals in the building right now, man. We got Dr. Celeste and of course, Shawn Harris, who was also on our podcast-a-thon this Sunday, man. So I appreciate him for being back with us once again. And
Thank you.
You know, we got them here today to drop some knowledge on us, man, to continue to inform us and, you know, just put us on notice, man. So first off, I'm going to have Shawn reintroduce himself, and then actually, you know what, let's have the ladies go first. So Dr. Celeste, go ahead and, you know, introduce yourself and let us know a little bit about it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys for having me. My name is Celeste Jackson. I'm a community psychologist and a licensed professional counselor in the state of Illinois. I'm also a restorative justice practitioner. I do a lot of work in the mental health community around individual, group, family, adolescents, and just structural organization-wide things when it comes to restorative justice. I've been practicing, I think, for 6 years now. And I have a group practice that I practice out of in Oak Park, Illinois. And I also have a consultant agency that my husband and I run out of Chicago, Illinois.
That's what's up. That's amazing. That's amazing. All right, before we hit you with some questions, go ahead, Shawn, reintroduce yourself, brother. Let us know what put us on, brother.
Well, that's hard to follow up, but I'm Shawn Harris. You know, I'm a mental health provider over at Dane County Jail. So I work with the incarcerated population, attending to their immediate needs, doing a lot of brief intermittent counseling. I don't get to see them for very long, or over the course of years, but attending to their needs while they're there, dealing with a lot of stuff, a variety of, you know, mental health pathology. You know, really, really severe, you know, paranoid schizophrenia, anxiety, depression, PTSD. Obviously, being incarcerated is not the most ideal experience. So making sure we're still attending to those mental health needs. I also work with teenage youth. So unfortunately, sometimes I get to see the school to prison pipeline in real time, you know, working on developmentally, how to help students mature mentally and navigate some of their own mental health struggles.
Man, that's what's up. Hey, y'all both do some pretty amazing things, man. Shawn, don't downplay yourself, man. I know you're a doctor here, but hey, man, y'all both are amazing, man, and I appreciate everything that y'all both do. And we need y'all.
Thank you.
And that's why we got y'all here, man, because with everything going on with the COVID-19, the murder of George Floyd and so many others, Breonna Taylor, man, I just want to know first off, let's start with how y'all feel about the response of our community.
You can go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, so appreciate it. I think people are hurting a whole lot. I think people are casting judgment, sharing that, people are acting ignorant or they're angry, and it's, not anybody's place to tell folks how to be angry, right? But one of the things that I've found is that I think protesting has been cathartic for people and therapeutic in a lot of ways. It's a place to be in community with other people, have your feelings and your experiences validated in a lot of ways, and to even garner more support, like folks that you didn't realize, empathize with what you were going through. The protest is a really, hopefully, a safe space for people to kind of go and get that healing done. Just sitting around and not feeling as though you're hopeless and you can't do anything about your situation, I think really pushes you further away from a solution to whatever you're experiencing.
Right. And it's crazy. Sorry to cut you off, doctor, but y'all both are on two different sides of the perspective as far as like Milwaukee and Chicago. So, doctor, Dr. Celeste, how's it going out there in Illinois?
So for me, I feel a lot of conflicting feelings personally. There's a part of this that feels like this plight, this struggle, this oppression, this debate, this argument, this isn't new for Black people. It's exasperated on such a large level right now. So it feels like, oh my gosh, there's this urgency. We have to do something now. But when you've been fighting this fight for so long, some of us are really tired, this is, okay, finally we got your attention. Finally, we want to have this conversation. So, there's a part of me that feels like, okay, well, now that the world is watching, now that we have this so-called civil rights movement, let's do something with it. But there's another part that feels a little bit bitter still and a little bit resentment that it took so long to get here, that another Black man had to die for this. I'm actually located about an hour outside of Chicago. We live in the suburbs. We are from Chicago. We do a lot of work in Chicago. And that's my roots. I'm from the West Side. Like no games all day, every day. Like that's my hood. But we moved out here to be closer to family once we had our son. And the city of Chicago, there's so much happening. There's so much evolving. I commend Mayor Lori Lightfoot. She is so dope. If y'all don't know about her, you can know her. It's not a lot of Black women in leadership who can do what she does and hold her own the way that she does. So I totally commend her for handling a global health pandemic and a racial crisis that has just taken the city by storm. And she's still very much well liked at the end of this, as this is happening. No one's generally hating her. People are appreciating and understanding that she's doing what she can with a city that is, to Shawn's point, it's hurting. And people have to find a way to express that hurt. Feelings have to be expressed.
And that's a good transition. How do you, other than protesting, what would y'all recommend be a better way of expressing how y'all feel right now, how we feel right now?
I think for me, I think the best thing you can do in terms of the movement is take care of yourself first, right? I shared with you all last time we were together, in order to fill, other cups, you got to make sure yours is full first. And that looks different for everybody, right? Trying to find productive ways to kind of cope. To Dr. Jackson's point, this has been since the day we got on this earth, Black folks have been struggling a whole lot with, institutionalized racism, systemic oppression, and then to be, in many ways gaslighted as if it's not happening, right? Or to feel like your feelings or how you express yourself are falling on deaf ears. you start to believe that maybe I'm wilding. Am I tripping? And like she said, you know, a lot of times it'll exacerbate whatever mental health predispositions we have that exist in us. I think me personally, I think I've been making sure to listen. I've been making sure to talk. I've been making sure to feel and kind of go through all of that and give myself permission to feel everything: anger, confusion, sadness, getting all that out, because otherwise it becomes toxic if I keep it in. And especially as a Black male, that can get really dangerous for us. I think I was listening to Mark Lamont Hill, and you mentioned a book called Heavy. It's by Keith Lehman. It's a professor down in Mississippi. He said, keeping in mind that during this time I need three things. I deserve healthy choices, good love, and second chances. And for me, that felt very relevant. And just kind of keeping that in mind and make sure my cup is full so I can pour into people, particularly the incarcerated population who already feel disenfranchised from this movement and are feeling the effects of systemic racism in real time.
Right. Okay. And how about you, Dot?
As far as how people can express their emotions outside of protesting,
Yes, ma'am.
I think, you know, people have to do what feels right for them. You know, I totally admire the protest. I totally admire that everybody has a role to play. Some people's role is going to be out in the street. Some people's role is going to be out on the forefront and on those lines and making those signs and really fighting that fight. And some people's lines or some people's fight is going to be somewhere else where Shawn and I are working to heal that hurt, working to talk about that pain. And I think another great thing that I love that you said, Shawn, is people have to allow themselves to feel what they feel it in totality, not suppress a feeling. As a people, as Black people, we have been so programmed to never really recognize who we are as emotional beings. We just go and we just do, and we're used to doing it, and we can do it damn good. Black people can go throughout their lives never really acknowledging any of the trauma that they experience.
Right.
They can be successful. Can I curse here? They can be successful as fuck. Like, and they can they'll never acknowledge the trauma. And so, you know, we have to break out of that cycle. People have to be allowed, validated to feel what they feel. And another great point that you brought up earlier, Shawn, like for those people that are looting, those people that are protesting, those people, however they're doing it, it's for some people to just shut up and be quiet and allow people to do what they do. First of all, this is a nation that we built. Things will be rebuilt. Lives cannot be replaced. And, you know, it's not a comparison. So how people are expressing their hurt. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of stuff that's happening that definitely shouldn't be happening. There's a lot of people that are agitating situations that shouldn't be. But for those who are truly just hurting and trying to express that, feel it. Allow yourself to feel it. And explore other avenues. Explore therapy. Explore peer groups. Explore, you know, having conversations when you feel comfortable and safe to do so.
Man, y'all, let's just take that in real quick. You understand? Like, they both just went crazy and dropped some knowledge on us, man. Like, I agree 110% with y'all, man. That was, I respect that. Fellas, I ask my final question. I'm gonna let y'all go ahead and ask y'all questions.
Hey, Shawn and Dr. Jackson. My thing is, you know, in the Black community, we are, how can I say this? We really can't afford the services that, you know, allow us to come talk to you guys or talk to a therapist of that nature. So what are some resources do you guys recommend, or some, you know, some tricks and trades on keeping your mental health capacity stable, you know, things people could exercise at home without having to sit and talk to somebody?
Yeah. You know, kind of what Dr. Jackson said, you know, find what fits for you. Again, culturally, I think we still have a ways to go in terms of therapy. I think it's going to be a while until it becomes something that's normalized, and it really takes, you know, mental health providers of color to kind of, you know, make it comfortable. Again, Charlamagne the God, I think, has been a great advocate for mental health, seeking mental health services. You know, his own personal struggles with anxiety, and I appreciate him for being transparent and vulnerable with those struggles, because I know there are people that resonate with that. and are afraid, like I said, in particular, Black males, you know what I mean? The way we're socialized, and Black women in particular, are always taught, have been socialized to, just y'all strong, y'all can take it, y'all and get it done. You know what I mean? And there's no space for their voice, right? Even through this movement, I found myself having to say, well, what about Breonna? You know what I'm saying? What about Breonna Taylor and the names that we don't know of women who've lost their lives? Because I think our country has an idea of what police brutality is. It's unarmed, middle-aged, cisgender, straight Black men dying. That's our own, and we forget about trans folks, right? We forget about women in that movement. And this Pride Month, you know what I'm saying? So we have to create space and make space for those experiences. I think meditation is a great way to find peace with self, slowing yourself down, right? Letting your brain and your body just relax. And I know a lot of us are on go. The world has managed to speed itself up, especially in the social media era. I think the Calm app has been something that, I've recommended to people. The Calm app, they got all types of stuff on there: meditation, silent breathing, body scans, things that I use with my athletes that I coach, really just to center themselves and get in a good mental space. And I mean, go to what feels safe. A lot of people seek refuge in their spirituality, right? Have a conversation with your congregation, have a conversation with your pastor, be around your church family, and people that you feel like are struggling. You have to reach out to those folks. I think we always say to each other, like, if you need me, call me. Chances are they not gonna pick up that phone. You know what I mean? And not to say they don't want it. They might not be in a place to ask for that help. So a lot of times, if you see somebody struggling, we got to go out and reach in and grab that person. If Daryl, I ain't talked to Daryl in 7 days, and I know he kind of going through it, I'm gonna pop up at his house like, all right, bro, I brought you some food. We're gonna go take a walk around the block for a little bit and just get you out and get you moving again. And finding ways to stay connected is going to be important, because again, this idea of self-care, a lot of people hear self-care and think of self-isolate. And a lot of times, again, coming from collectivist societies like we do, we need to be with each other. We need to be around folks. And even if we don't have the vocabulary to have the conversation, sometimes it's just good to feel like somebody is next to you. You know what I mean? In terms of seeking those services, I know a lot of us aren't insured. There are resources. I know here in Madison, where I currently reside, there are social services and people that do, provide mental health services on a sliding scale. So based on your income, you could pay only like $5, $10 for a session. You know what I'm saying? Going down to the counseling psychology training clinic, partnering with some schools, colleges, some like Marquette and Milwaukee. I'm not sure what about schools in Chicago, but there might be a university that provides services on a sliding scale, so that they can train their master's and PhD level clinicians.
Okay.
Yeah, those are all great recommendations. I was just writing down a few books that I think are really good. Carter G. Woodson, The Miseducation of a Negro, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome by Dr. Joy DeGroy, I think it's DeGroy, The Spirit of a Man by Iyanla Vanzant. All great books, all things that you can read at home, all things that you can take your time, all things that I think validate the Black experience.
Yes.
In addition to the meditation, in addition to these apps, podcasts are also really great. Exactly what you guys are doing. There are mental health podcasts out there that are free. For Black women, I know there's Therapy for Black Girls, but you don't have to be a Black woman to listen to that podcast. This contrary to popular belief, there are actually pro bono services from a lot of great and competent mental health providers. All you have to do is call. All you have to do is see, do you have sliding scale? Do you offer pro bono services? I know my office does, and I know that we've made a charge to even offer more slots for pro bono clients who can't afford it because they need it. I don't know about the schools in Chicago, but the best thing that I always suggest, like, we have not because we ask not. And sometimes I think Black people, again, that programming to just not ask for things that we deserve or we want has kind of crippled us in a way. And so going out and making that, and this is the time too, for all those white people who want to be allies and who want to be culturally competent and who want to be helpful. I'm not saying they need to be providing the services. I'm saying they need to partner with organizations with people that look like us to provide the services, because what you don't want to do is enter into a space where you re-traumatize yourself trying to explain your trauma to somebody that don't look like you before you can even deal with what's going on with you. So reach out to those people who have put those posts up, those Black Lives Matters, those black tiles. Hey, I noticed that you work in this organization. Can you help get me some services for some people in my organization or my community? Now is the time to cash in. You know, they made these claims, they've made these statements, and I'm ready to hold every single one of them accountable in whatever way I can.
That's what I like to hear.
Right.
Yeah, I know y'all mentioned the apps and everything, but in a busy world that we live in, what how much time do you recommend for self-care? Let's say about a week or every day.
Good question, Godfrey.
Yeah, you know, self-care is gonna look different for everybody. You know, I know we all say we all get the same 24 hours, but man, I grew up in a household where moms was really holding it down for the most part. So my 24 hours now, her 24 hours now feel a little different, right? I mean, and then again, painting a picture of what self-care is. Whenever you can lean into your community and learn about your community, and get those experiences validated, it helps you feel more full in walking through your world. Because a lot of times, what helps exacerbate feelings of isolation and depression is feeling like you're alone or you're the only one going through it. And when you find people, and I'm glad Dr. Jackson actually holds groups, because those are really valuable too. Just to be around people that are like, dude, I know about addiction, or I know about depression, or I know about trauma. And that's a word that I think makes people uncomfortable, the word trauma, right? In terms of self-care, you should be dedicating, man, I would say if you can carve out an hour out of your day just to focus on you, unplug from all your obligations that feel like competing obligations, and just do something for you. And that looks different for everybody. For some people, they like cooking, other folks like meditating, other folks just like chopping up on the phone with their people and not having to worry about work or other obligations, or just going to sleep, taking a nap, whatever you can do to that feels right and recharges you, and try different things, right? A lot of us would be like, man, I'm tired, I'm gonna just go to sleep. Pick up a book, you know what I'm saying? Go listen to a really dope podcast like What You Don't Notice, right? And just get that validation in whatever spaces you feel like could actually help you get to that point where you're recharged.
I agree. I think it is totally awesome to set aside at least an hour a day to just you. I always suggest that when you can, sleep with your phone away from your bed. I like that hour to be at the beginning or at the end of the day. If you can carve out 30 minutes at the beginning and 30 minutes at the end to take a few moments to meditate, to journal, to just be alone, unplugged, away from the chaos that is social media and every obligation that comes through the phone. It's so crazy to think that we are in a generation that lived at a time when phones didn't do everything that they do now. I mean, I got my first phone probably towards the end of high school, and I just had the little snake thing going around, like, I
the game. That was a classic, though.
Like,
yeah.
Now, at any given moment, I could pick up my phone and have access to anything, to order food, to see what's happening, to get in touch with, dozens or hundreds of people at one time, via apps and GroupMe's and all that stuff. So it's just like, you need to find space away from that because you're overstimulated. Like, I encourage people, like, people don't even know, like, alarm clocks still exist. Like, it's a separate thing you can buy for $5 that'll wake you up so you don't have your phone, because what happens is the phone is next to the bed. You're in it all night. You never give your brain time to actually shut down and process what has happened. And it's oversaturated. It's too much. And so, I suggest 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, and keep your phone as much as you can away from you. Obviously, if you have obligations like kids or, you got childcare or something that you need to be accessible for, but most of us, we can still manage to be away from the phone for some time.
Man, you both are amazing, insightful individuals, man. I definitely appreciate y'all both joining us once again today. Before we let y'all go, I just want y'all to share y'all business information or y'all personal information where people can find you and ask questions.
Yep. So, Shawn Harris, I'm working out of Dane County Jail. So I primarily work with the incarcerated population. So I don't see a whole lot of individual clients. I consult every now and then, do trainings in the Madison area. You can find my Instagram at Shawnwardson, ShawnWardson. Respond to DMs pretty quickly, and would love to provide whatever resources and materials that are available. Because again, you know, I think that's where I find my purpose, being a service to others, and whenever I can do that and help, and that's kind of my lane, and how I choose to perform social justice and activism, because that's a very personal endeavor, and that's how I do it.
What's up, bro?
You can find my information on therapyforblackgirls.com, and you can just do a search of my name, Celeste Jackson, or you can visit my practice's website at sierracenter.org.
Once again, thank you guys. Thank you both. Hopefully we'll have you back on the show again.
Please.
Definitely love the education, and we definitely need the education, man. But everybody continue to stay safe and continue to seek guidance, man. Y'all both, I appreciate y'all empowering us all. Thank you.
Of course. Thank you for having me.